Alright, so, a little while back I talked about the announcement that DC and Boom Studios were about to do probably one of the wildest crossovers I had ever heard. Green Lantern and, it's between Green Lantern and Planet of the Apes. Yeah, I'm still trying to get my head around that. And someone made a comment saying it would have made more sense if they wanted to do it with any DC hero. Why not do it with the Flash? Because obviously Gorilla Grodd, and not only that, the Flash can run into alternate timelines. So what if we did it, so here's like a loose idea from that, offhanded comment of that I had from, revolving around Flash on the Planet of the Apes. What would that be like? And yes, it does involve Gorilla Grodd, because, god damn it, Grodd on Planet of the Apes. So here's all I could think. And also, before I go any further, and I'm going to make this very clear, I want to make this as very clear as I can. I don't normally do this from, making ideas from story ideas from people's comments. This is usually my thing. But one of the reasons why I kind of did this is because, yeah, one, it makes a little more sense, but again, it's people in tights meeting monkey people, so, yeah, it's, anthropomorphic apes talking with people in tights, so that's about much sense as it can get. But yeah, I don't normally do this, so, this is usually, when I do these story ideas, it's usually, for ideas that I've come up with. That one just, it just kind of was an offhanded comment. It would make more sense with Flash than Green Lantern in the DC universe. But, I just decided to kind of run with that. So, yeah, this is just kind of one of those, rare instances where, this offhanded comment gave me this whole idea. Anyway, so keep in mind, this idea is very loose. This is a very loose idea, more or less. So, the idea, more or less the idea it would be, if I could do this, is like, obviously, DC and Boom would ever let me write any comics, right? So the idea, basically, is that, Grodd has stolen blueprints, basically, on how to reverse engineer the cosmic treadmill. And the reason being is not because he wants to use the Speed Force, because, yeah, he did have the Speed Force for a short time. I think he still has it. Or maybe not, I don't know, or care. Grodd uses his own version of a cosmic treadmill to tap into alternate timelines because, yeah, he's kind of tired of getting his ass handed to him by a human who can run fast. So, Grodd escapes into an alternate timeline, aka the Planet of the Apes, where through his own version of the cosmic treadmill, he's managed to, discover this alternate timeline where apes, are now lording over man, and now he's like, oh yeah, I want to go there. However, Flash has followed him through it, and now, Flash has to bring Grodd back, but there's a problem. During the whole chasing after Grodd through an alternate timeline, his connection in an alternate timeline is now kind of being, his Speed Force is slowly being, his connection to the Speed Force is slowly slipping. Mostly because, well, I guess plot convenience, and plus, the reason being is because now that he's in an alternate timeline, much like in Flashpoint, his connection to the Speed Force is kind of weakening. The longer he's outside of his own timeline, the longer it looks like the effects of losing his speed happen. But meanwhile, Grodd has become king of, he's now he now demands to be ruler of Ape City because he's a gorilla who is more or less, showing that he is like a godlike ape. He is like this godlike ape. The problem is that, the ape, while the apes are violent, the apes of Planet of the Apes are violent and they can be aggressive, they do have laws. And they look at Grodd and see that he is, he's too savage, he's too aggressive for them. But Grodd, being the ape asshole that he is, he more or less unleashes his psychic powers and, just unleashes a torrent of psychic energy upon them, and, just leaves them in mental agony until he makes himself the ruler of Ape City, dethroning the seat Dr. Zaius and the other orangutans, and making himself the emperor of the apes. That's what he calls himself, the emperor of the apes. and he makes it that the gorillas have a lot of control, because obviously the gorillas are, manual labor and military force in this universe. So he gives a lot of power to the gorillas, and namely Marius, who was kind of a malcontent in some of the films, but yeah, Marius follows him because, Ape City's running out of food because of humans encroaching, and now, with Grodd's help, now they can make a new kind of gorilla-centric society. The problem is that, a lot of the apes are still kind of against Grodd because, Grodd is too aggressive for their people. It's too, he's a malcontent. So, meanwhile, Barry, still trying to keep his connection to the Speed Force, he's trying his hardest to retain his speed in this alternate timeline. He is teaming up with, he teams up with Cornelius and Zira to try to figure out what the hell to do about Grodd. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea in a nutshell, more or less. That is more or less the idea. It just makes sense. Like, it would, again, it's people, it's people in tights, teaming up with anthropomorphic apes. That's about it. This idea makes a little more sense than Green Lantern on the planet of the apes, I guess. But yeah, I just thought it makes a little more sense because alternate timelines and Gorilla Grodd just makes sense to be the main villain. So, and who knows, maybe we'll actually see this sometime, assuming that, this comic does well, and Boom and DC can, do something together again. I mean, obviously when, obviously how well IDW and DC work together for Star Trek, Green Lantern, and Batman TMNT, that all the hype and the sales around that comic book, gave it the push they needed to be like, let's team up again. So who knows, maybe if this comic does well, Boom and DC will be like, hey, let's do this again, and maybe we'll use a different superhero on the planet of the apes. I mean, DC and Boom are already working together with Gotham Academy and Lumberjanes, so this would mark their second crossover. Hopefully it won't be their last. Knock on wood. But you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the Flash on the planet? This idea for Flash and Planet of the Apes. Do you guys like the idea? Do you guys hate the idea? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope y'all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.